That's why he's a star, I guess. In the Strive 5, we usually like to pick 5 football games on a Friday night that you don't want to miss on their respective Strive channels, plus the game of the week. And, Tony, it is very difficult to find just 5 to whittle it down. We should say it's the Strive 22 and just go watch them all.
Yeah, we should. I tried to pick out a few, so we'll run through them as quick as I can. Eric, first I'm going to stay close to home. Columbus travels to Grand Island Northwest. The Vikings, number 10 in Class B. They're just ranked, and of course, we've watched for the last few years Preston Ellsworth and the Viking offense get it done with high tempo. They're getting it done with defense so far this year. They shut out Gehring, and then they beat Alliance 17-7 in a defensive battle. Columbus drops down from Class A, so this will be a nice test for Coach Stein's crew. That one will be on the Northwest Drive channel, and I believe it's homecoming for the Vikings. If you want to look at the top end of Class B, Omaha Skutt comes off a loss to Elkhorn South, but they're still ranked number 2. They will travel to Crete. Of course, the Air Force recruit, Rhett Harms, we talked about him a few times. They're coming off of a loss to third-ranked Gretna, so Crete gets the Skutt-Gretna double here, but it'll be in Crete. It'll be interesting to see how the Cardinals respond. I think that could be a good one down at Simon Field on Doan's campus there. Also, another team who drew a short straw in the scheduling. How about Syracuse? They started the year with Boys Town, lost a close game to the 5th-ranked Cowboys there. Another close one last week to Fairbury, and now they get number 1 Wahoo Newman. They'll host Wahoo Newman. If you want to watch Noah Vedral, the Central Florida commit, you can do it on the Syracuse Drive channel. Number 1 Wahoo Newman plays Syracuse, and Wahoo, I noticed today, or a couple days ago, I guess, Wahoo and Wahoo Newman are 1 and 2 in C1. Stu Pospisil believes the first time that has happened. Then I want to take folks over to Fall City. I think a good one between 2 Strive schools will be 2-0 Fairbury, likely with a win. I think would be ranked after the win over Syracuse last week. Fall City is 1-1. They had a tough loss, a tough game with Ashland Greenwood on Saturday. It was a 48-34 loss, but the 2 running backs who I think would just be fantastic in this one, Zane Heckenlively for the Tigers, Jacob Johnson for the Jeffs. So those are my 4, and then I got 2 other quick ones, Eric, for you. Battle of 2-0 teams in Albee, and I think Boone Central, Newman Grove, and O'Neill, both of those teams were playoff teams last week. There's not much distance between them. That should be a fun one. The Eagles are 2-0 as well. Remember, they, I believe, lost. No, they didn't lose to Central City in the playoffs last year. I think I think Central City beat Broken Bow, so I apologize for that one. But
no, you're right. Central City beat. Am I right? They beat Boone. Yeah. First round.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. Sounds good. And then one story that I'm really following here, Eric, is the St. Paul Wildcats. The Wildcats have dropped down to C2. They are 2-0. This senior class at St. Paul has won 3 games total in their high school career. So last week they got the win over Cross County. I think that was 22-14. But they've done it with defense. They've only given up 2 scores in each game. And then it's the junior quarterback, Tanner Robleski. He has 272 yards passing, 188 rushing through 2 games. And then on defense, Cole Fosek, the senior, has got 12 tackles in both of their first 2 games. So they play undefeated St. Paul. The Wildcats could match their win total from the last 3 seasons on Friday night as they play Valentine. We'll be pulling for St. Paul in that one.
Absolutely. We pull for our Strive schools whenever possible. And that leaves us with our Channel Seed game of the week. It is C2 number 2 Battle Creek at Central City. Preferred popcorn field. That's your picture, actually, that we had up there for Coach Hubert earlier. But he talked about the game and what it would mean. Obviously, it's a big litmus test early in the season for Central City. What do you see as the keys for both squads?
Well, I think, if you're Battle Creek, they've kind of hung their hat on running the ball, Northeast Nebraska football. You know what I mean? They just kind of are going to run it at you, try to control the clock, and probably play a little bit of keep away from Central City. I think if you're Central City and you're Coach Hubert, you've played, obviously, Centennial's a team that's proven themselves here now again in week 2. So I think that week 1 loss you've really put behind you. And then, they got off out to a great start against Loganview and probably got a little bit of momentum there. And I got to think the crowd and the whole atmosphere surrounding the new field is going to help them a little bit. I think the key in this one for Central City is, can they get ahead early? Can they play with a lead? And then you never know what could happen. But I think obviously it'll be a great atmosphere, and I think this could be a really good football game. Central City ranked in the preseason, as well as Battle Creek, and Battle Creek coming off a big win against Oakland Craig, who they beat in the regular season last year, but then Oakland Craig turned the tables on them in the playoffs. And so this will be a good one. C2 has had a lot of great games early, man. If you look at the Wilbur Claytonia Hastings St. Cecilia game last week, St. Cecilia has to bounce back now and play Sutton again this week. So C2 really almost sorting itself out here early, and it's fun to kind of play along with them and be at some of these games.
It seems like we might see quite a few rematches in C2 by the time we get to the playoffs, doesn't it? I know that happens a fair number of times anyway in Class A because you have fewer schools anyway. But C2 seems like we could see quite a few rematches come later in November.
Yeah, I mean, you just never know, and the other thing you get to when some of the teams play a lot and they play each other during the season. St. Cecilia is going to play Donovan Trumbull again. So, you might get a situation in C2 where a 5-4, a 6-3 team maybe sneaks into that 16-team field, and based on a favorable draw of somebody who went 8-1 or 7-2, they might be able to pull off a win in the playoffs. So, yeah, I think C2 has a chance to be a very, very interesting field this year. You even look at UTAN. I know they're 0-2, but they lost to Oakland Craig and to Centennial. And so, and two very close games. And so they're a team who, even if they get their confidence, they're a team that could turn the table and maybe even do, pull an upset or two in the playoffs.